focus of this video is going to be being aware of what we consume. And by consume, I mean, yes, physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, sensory intake. Because these things over time dictate our life and our perception and our health and our relationships and everything. I guess I mean, like, okay, for example, you'll probably see more of a difference if you say you don't have if you don't have a routine that's based on supporting yourself spiritually or emotionally. And say you start your day with watching reels on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, or scrolling through Facebook, or, watching a murder trial rather than meditating or stretching or anything like that. You'll probably notice that when you do something like that instead, you will see a difference in your day dramatically. And if you have constant unhealthy habits, that is to be seen outwardly because your subconscious takes in everything, more than we can even comprehend. And what is coming into our subconscious is what is projected outwardly constantly. And if we have a constantly angry person or annoyed person, they're really going to seem like they are always looking for the next thing to piss them off. And really, what this person should look at is their behaviors. Their behavior and what is causing that behavior. Going way down, way deep, and introspection, seeing that if, say, a friend in school or a parent or something said something that was a belief that they had, and then they adopted it as truth, and over time it doesn't seem to make sense, but it's still truth to them because that's how they were raised and they don't question it. Our feelings or our authenticity was rejected or invalidated, which created in the future some sort of mental illness or disorder. It creates our behavioral patterns and eventually our sense of identity, which is also created on a daily basis. Like, we don't even realize so many of the things that we adopt as our sense of self, like our name. And I like how Eckhart Tolle said, we think our name, when somebody asks, who are you? You say, I'm John, and you say John, like it's just a sound you make. Like it's just a sound. It doesn't mean anything. It has nothing to do with who you are, your thoughts or emotions or past or what you do for work or whatever, has nothing to do with you. And all of these things, the world is built on. The world is built by people, or dare I call them, elites. The biggest tier of people who run the world are knowledgeable in the kind of knowledge that ancient knowledge, like ancient civilizations, had. And so much of it, we don't have a clue. And it is our right to us because we are that. We have these abilities that most people nowadays don't even believe in because our world is so artificial now, and the way that it is programmed and fine-tuned so that we value superficial things. And collectively, our vibration and our sense of identity and our suffering, which is based on conflict within the self because of something that threatens our sense of identity, when the sense of identity is the problem to begin with. And collectively, all these traumas and these conditionings and these thought processes and mental illnesses and physical illnesses that are manifested by mental illnesses and all of these things that make people miserable and whatever, leaves a trail of insanity for the next person to pick up. And we all dive into, instead everything is organized so that we value things that used to actually have value once, but have been twisted in a way that is manipulating us to value the same thing, but it's not even that thing anymore. Or to think that something is something that it used to be, but no longer is, because they made it something else. Like, for example, religion. And so everything is based off of greed. Everything is greed. And I'll come back to that. But the teachings in the Bible and the teachings that Jesus, the words that Jesus said, were not to be perceived with the intellectual mind. They are analogies for manifestation and alchemy and balances of the universe and consciousness and all of these things. When they're really used now, everything is being skewed and it's still being followed, and the rules are even changing. Like, oh, now it's okay to eat meat on whatever day or whatever. Like, but nobody questions that. It's just like things change over time, and these are things that already had people's attention, and not control, but attention, and they're using them to control. And with millions of ways like that, mind control is possible with elites and people who run the system, aware of what humans are capable of and what our human potential is and what abilities we actually have, and the function of the third eye and our chakras and things that we don't even know that are thrown off, and our energy field. And they've been doing this for thousands of years, and they know the tactics to do it. And the wrong people become powerful. But it's not real. It's an illusion, because yes, they seem powerful and we see that, and they want us to think that. But as people, if we start to understand what we are, and what we are is the universe experiencing itself. We are in the physical realm. We are ethereal beings. These things that people think that aren't real are the only things that are real, but because everything is fake, these are the things that people don't believe in, the things that you cannot see, like manifestation and metaphysical things, energy, paranormal, vibration, love, like real love. People actually don't sometimes believe in real love. And of course, there's a lot of reasons that could be for any of that, but we have even calling them powers, honestly, like levitation. And if you don't know what I mean by our actual abilities, clairvoyance, seeing energies, feeling energies, all of these things that we can do, our body needs to be aligned and in tune to those things. And what I'm getting at, I guess, is that the world is created in a way that prevents that from happening. Because if that was happening, then we would have some sort of power or influence in the world. And we wouldn't be dumb, and we wouldn't be clueless, and we wouldn't be valuing artificial things like they have any actual truth. And we need to start asking ourselves if, are you happy with your life the way that it is? Would you be happy if you were to live that same way for the rest of your life? How would you change it? And what's the reason why you're not? And it's always these limiting beliefs that we have that are created for, forever ago, just like anything else. And, oh, we'll do it later, we'll do it tomorrow, or maybe someday, or blah, blah, blah. And like all of these excuses and reasons for not doing something. And you're going to keep saying that until the day that life is over and it's too late. And you're like, oh shit, I could have had that life, but I didn't. And the life you wanted got away from you. But it's just really coming down to undoing. The undoing of everything you think you know. And it takes strength, and it takes mental and emotional maturity, spiritual maturity and strength. And there is a such thing as spiritual laziness. And I can speak from experience. Spiritual laziness is a thing, and it's hard to be present and have constant awareness of things and yourself and your relationships and your life, everything, and your projections outward, and how you are feeling inside, and being in tune with everything. And it's hard when the people around you are unconscious, the world around you is unconscious, and everything is basically begging you and forcing you to be unconscious. And it seems impossible, and it's hard. But what we need to really understand is what the ego is. And when people think ego, they think like egotistical people or narcissists or like egomaniacs, or like, oh, that person has a big ego, like they think highly of themselves or whatever. That's not even anything. Like, somebody can have a giant ego and hate themselves inside. And most of the time, that's the truth. People with giant egos do not have self-love. And in order to get away from this, we need to find self-love in order to bring truth to the world. And in finding self-love, we need to find self-trust. Not saying we're going to change something and never doing it, and telling ourselves maybe someday. Take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally. Check in on yourself. Think of your subconscious as the child you were, like the child that you are eternally taking care of. And your conscious is you are the parent. And that is a responsibility. It's a responsibility for you and for anyone around you, the rest of the world, because your vibration, you are responsible. We need to be responsible for our own vibration, because we're spreading it to the rest of the world. And yeah, okay, things aren't going to change in this generation, maybe too much, but for the sake of our future and our future generations and the future of the world, because we'll be back. And do we want to see it worse than when we left it the last time? No. And to open our eyes to what we're, dealing with here, what we're living in. Yeah, the people who are in power don't actually have power. We do. And we just need to do that work to be able to, or just ignore it. I mean, if we all, honestly, the things that we're supposed to follow, or that we're supposed to obey, or conform to, they don't actually have any authority over us. Like, as a collective, if we chose to just live our life by our own means, we would see that. They would break. They do control what we consume. And all of these things that we consume are perfectly planned and perfectly put together. From, the fluoride in the water to the fluoride in, like, literally anything. Consumerism, buy, want more, want. Like, chasing for the next thing. The biggest thing in that is feeding your reward system, your feeding the dopamine. And what feeds that dopamine is, and then you get a tank, and then that leaves you with less power. And it also leaves you it's also unconscious because it's an egoic drive to want things, to want material, and it attaches you to the material world, which is also another thing to not be connected to and have a sense of identity to. If you are in nature and you are standing in front of a tree, yes, nature is beautiful and you can appreciate it. You can appreciate the form, but the form is not what that is. It has nothing to do with what it is. And your name and your body and your personality have nothing to do with who you are, your past, nothing. You are the energetic field that surrounds you 3 to 15 feet, bigger than your body. Form perishes. It's the mask or container of what actually is. If you're in nature, the tree, you have, picture yourself as an auric field, a cloud of colorful energy. And everything around you is colorful energy. Take away the form of the trees and of the nature and the animals and everything, and you have a bunch of energetic fields. You have consciousness. You are not separate from that. You are not separate from me. I am not separate from you. We are not separate from anybody. And we all have this, on some level or another, a perception of ourselves comparing to somebody as inferior or superior. And that doesn't exist either. Nobody, nothing is better or lesser than another. And there's so many subliminals that are around that, are, everything's programming us. Like every day, things are programming us. We have electromagnetic stuff. We have blue waves on screens that we, at this point, can't get away from. Food and vaccines that cause, autism and other things, that pesticides that cause that, and things that they push that you can't avoid, and they're making it increasingly impossible to avoid these things. You develop a mental illness, and what you need therapy, or you need medication, and a physical illness even, or a mental illness that manifests into a mental illness that manifests into a physical illness. Because even if it's just stress because of the way the world is and the go, and you have to be this, you have to do this, you have to do this, everything that's expected of you, and you become so stressed out, you manifest these physical ailments, and then you need to go to a doctor. And then what do? They treat the symptoms, and they give you this medication, and then they give you this medication to treat the side effects of this medication and this medication. And then what are you doing? You're destroying your liver while you're treating something else that might not even exist in the first place. If you were to just meditate for a month straight, it could be gone. But instead, you've altered the rest of your life because of doctors throwing pills at you, because that's how they're trained, and literally pumping you with radiation and you have cancer, or if just getting a CT scan, drink this radiation, oh, let's inject you with more radiation. And if you ever had one, they feel mortifying. It is so unnatural. Oh my god, it's so unnatural. It's just, and when you have cancer, chemotherapy, radiation, these things make you sicker in other ways. And there are things right now that they know will probably make you sicker, but they don't care, because you know what? They're making money off of you. They're making money off of the treatments. They're making money off of the pills. Like anything that is natural that can help you heal in any way, mentally, emotionally, physically, connect you to God, connect you to yourself, help you understand life, the universe, anything is all either illegal. You'll go to prison for having it or using it, or you literally have to just go to that other country to find it, or to get alternative treatment that they just don't have here, because this country at least is run from an egoic place of greed. The natural healers and things that bring you closer to understanding yourself, and things that actually cure cancer. Like, for example, psychedelics, that in school they make sure to tell you right away that that makes holes in your brain so you never touch it. And they teach you nothing in school about vibration or energy, when it's everything. It's everything. And there are people in the world who are like, yeah, okay, vibration, energy, you're made of it. You're made of it. And they don't teach you meditation. They don't teach you presence. Nothing that should be. They don't even teach you even any like ways to live, even through the system. It's just like, oh, this is what happened 300 years ago. Do a report on it. When really, imagine a school that would train you how to use your intuitive powers and your higher mind to heal yourself and others. Energetic healing, and to use your fullest potential. Like, why are these things non-existent? Why is alternative medicine actual medicine when our go-to usual medicine is completely just corrupt? It's just mind-blowingly stupid. It's offered there to help you, and really they just want to suck all the money out of you that they can, and that's everything. That's how the world works. It's at least how America works. And these alternative medicines that do wonders in other countries, and they're natural, that's their normal, they're what they do. And here, alternative medicine is, first of all, extremely expensive, and it's a pain in the ass to find it, especially like with insurance, and you never actually get treated with regular medicine most of the time, or not diagnosed with anything. And people die for reasons that never even are found, but they ended up taking 20 medications before they died. The fruit in South America that cures cancer is it kills the liver and breast cancer cells that are resistant to chemotherapy, and helps with depression, nervous system disorders. It has an anti-tumor effect, helps with depression, arthritis, which is incurable, so we think, but of course it isn't. There's all kinds of energetic reasons for that, like psychological resistance, and actual need for like self-love or self-forgiveness, or forgiving somebody is something that I've heard on reasons why someone can have arthritis. And that is, it's all like energetic, and things that we go through, and things that we do that clog certain chakras and parts of our body that we have trapped energy, that we might never see some crazy ability that we really do have, because maybe we silenced ourselves our whole life and never spoke your truth, and no one ever took you seriously, and just invalidated, and always just never was heard, and but always had something to say, always had like these things going on, and never shared anything. And then you ended up getting like some sort of acid reflux or esophageal thing, or like throat cancer, throat chakra blocked, imbalanced, like clog, like energy sits places, and we need to learn to tune into that and become aware of that. And that's very, very real, and people don't believe in that because everything's fake. And I remember writing on Thanksgiving that I was like, please, I hope I just spontaneously astral project, because I can't be here. Like, I never watched TV, but cable was on, and I could not believe what I was seeing and how obvious it was. The things that are so fake. Everything is so fake. Even people are fake. And why is it that we strive for artificial? Why do we strive to be perfect? We're human beings. There's no such thing as perfection. But why would you even want to be that? We're running away from our flaws and things that we think are ugly, or bad, and that could be due to, like, you know, religious beliefs. We need to heal ourselves and really tune into all that stuff and look at why we are projecting the way we're projecting and why something might trigger us. And when you think you got it, dig a little deeper. Dig a little deeper. Dig deeper until it clicks and something just, yes, wow. And you just might be crazy surprised at these things. And, you know, because what you resist will persist, and that is the way the world works. Running away from it will never, ever be any good. Nothing good comes from that, and everybody is beautiful, and we all have that part of us. We're all, you know, to some level, like, ashamed of it, or like certain things. It's what we are. Like, we're human beings, and we are not perfect, and that is because we're human beings. When we revert back to being ethereal beings, we will no longer have that. So know that none of that is who you are anyway. But in order to be the best version of ourselves and to live in a world that is trusting and loving and empathetic and beautiful, everything that you can imagine as you would want the world to be, we have it in us. And if we all decided this one day, the world would change in one day. It's just an awareness that I think we all need to pay attention to, because the world is so fast and busy, and they want you to be so fast and busy, and it wants you to conform to, you know, these, you know, spending most of your life working at a job meaninglessly, and you might hate it. No, everyone hates their job. That's how it is. No. That's what they want you to believe that. They want you to believe that. It is not. We all have our own purpose for being here. If we were able to access our higher mind easier, we could see it, we could feel it, and use that. And it's not necessarily a job that exists already. It could be a higher purpose. And that can sound intimidating, but we don't need to do physically. If we were aligned, we could use our mind to do that. And it's just all so simple, and it all seems so complicated, but everything that is the world right now isn't right. Everything that is the way it is egoic mind, manifested and feeding its greed. It's a scary thing, but it doesn't need to be. The world, the way it is, will not accommodate you taking care of yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, in any way that you need, whether you are taking time off for surgery or taking a day off for meditation. Like, you can get fired from your job, and you know what? Yeah, the world won't accommodate, but the universe will. Because, you will align yourself with your truer purpose, your higher purpose. The more you start to take care of yourself, the more you align yourself, you'll be able to manifest better and use your abilities better, instead of being in places you don't want to be and around people you don't want to be around. And all of this creates so much suffering and people hating their condition, their situation, and they're just hating everything around them. And so instead, we can be aware of our projections and start kind of tuning ourselves a little bit and stop hurting the people around us and judging, and recognizing ourselves as being the same, and kind of noticing and being aware of those things, the judging, the perceiving us separate, the all of these things, because, you know, the more toxic things get, and that's how addiction happens. And even then, addiction, like, they make money off of that too. And it's like, it's a horrible paradox, irony. It's insane. And it's insanity. And and then, yeah, maybe, you know, you don't know what to do, and mentally it could get so bad that you just like want to, like, you don't know where to turn for the truth anymore. You don't know where to turn for any answers, and then you turn for the wrong places for answers because they're there for you, but they're not really there for you. And so you go to the wrong place, or you go to a mental hospital where they ignore you or lock you in a room, and or they don't really care, and then it just gets it, and this whole system just breaks you down so bad. And we need to stop following it and start with ourselves. Start with ourselves and align it. And it is hard given the schedules, but it's tough to stop caring too. And that is what we need to do. We need to stop caring a little bit, because our and senselessness doesn't make sense to a reasoning mind. I understand, but a reasoning mind isn't that reasonable. Live by your own means. I don't know. I don't want to live in a fake world anymore with fake people and fake systems and fake food and fake healthcare and artificial, because you know what? Pretty soon we're going to become artificial, and well, that's already sort of happening. So let's kill it.